Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I'm going to begin with some poems from an Everyman's Library Pocket Poets Anthology titled Borderlines. This one is by Annie Kim and it is titled Map of Korea, 1950. A map between them, father and daughter. Dishes cleared, his newspaper pushed aside. She's home for the weekend. It's his birthday. The line between the north, shown as mostly white space, and the bustling south is concise. So familiar, in fact, it's cliché. What's the province where grandmother was born? This is what she likes. Ask and answer. Glide of her exhibit across the table. Each fact a new rock in her palm, that weight of knowledge. Hamhung. The camps in Chongqiang. The map is small. Because it lacks detail, he draws the Imjin lightly in pencil. Waiting, she's strapped him in quilts to her back. Here a curl down the coast of the Yellow Sea. This is what he likes. The pencil's lightness in his hand, the clean new page, the kitchen lamp, simple as a moon above their table. The next poem is by Nick Manoha, and it is titled Stone. The best thing I did was move my body from one side of the world to the other. This required a visa, which required a bribe. The bribe, placed in the palm of a man with a gun, took my mother's monthly wage packet. The man with a gun let me speak to a clerk. He too wanted a wage because it would be his job to have words with a judge for another month's salary. The official wanted his bribe, so listened to the clerk, escorted by the soldier as he held his gun. As I sat with my mother on the steps of the court, drinking soda, waiting for one man to say yes, my mother said, "In Uganda, a bribe stops men doing nothing. It rolls away the stone." Her sips were slower than mine, each separated by this prayer. The next poem is by D. Nurkse, N-U-R-K-S-E, Nurkse, and it is titled In the Hold. After an unmeasured time as a stowaway in the stifling void, listening to the waves, the rats, the grains of wheat settling, my father heard church bells and knew he'd come to port. When they rang past 12, he was sure the war had broken out, the world war that had been expected all through childhood for so long. Tailors adjusted their chalk lines for it. Painters shaded it into the middle distance like an unknown primary. Preachers exhausted the endings for their sermons. Now my father, in the dark cubbyhole that might be endless, or just a hair larger than his ungrown body, counts the coins in his sack, the stitches in the gunny weave. He takes his pulse, then, having no more real things, he counts the members of his family, the chimneys of his village, all the days of his life in the old country. And one more, this by Sandy Solomon, titled Political Refugee 1 Month On. What he's lost isn't the uninterrupted sun or the jokey patois of his friends, their fingers fanned to brace the past jug as they bantered, full of idiom and pun, after long meetings. He's lost himself, the one he was at home, the last to leave the plane, clutched to his seat for fear his blood would freeze, the ground outside white with flakes, they said, of frozen water. When they led him out, shivering in his short-sleeved shirt, a blanket pressed on his shoulders, to his plump hosts, whose mouths curved around strange syllables of welcome, to the donated coat, to the land of ever after, he called himself survivor, snatched from the tribe of the dead. But now he counts himself not saved, but strayed, estranged and numb, a beast in the field, wheeling for direction, knowing none. I was thinking today how the two great poets, or great to me at least, of the U.S., Claude McKay and T.S. Eliot, were born very close together. Eliot in 1988, I think, and McKay in 1888, and McKay in 1890. And Eliot emigrated. He moved to England and became a citizen of the United Kingdom. Claude McKay was born in Jamaica and immigrated to the U.S. and died in Chicago. And I think between the two, Claude McKay is more reflective of who we are now. He is an immigrant poet par excellence. Some of his early poems dealt with reflections upon the life that he missed. This is titled Flame Heart. So much I have forgotten in 10 years, so much in 10 brief years. I have forgot what time the purple apples come to juice, and what month brings the shy forget-me-not. I have forgot the special, startling season of the pimentos flowering and fruiting, what time of year the ground doves brown the fields and fill the noonday with their curious fluting. I have forgotten much, but still remember the poinsettias red, blood red, in warm December. I still recall the honey fever grass, but cannot recollect the high days when we rooted them out of the pingwing path to stop the mad bees in the rabbit pen. I often try to think in what sweet month the languid painted ladies used to dapple the yellow by-road mazing from the main, sweet with the golden threads of the rose apple. I have forgotten, strange, but quite remember, the poinsettias red, blood red, in warm December. What weeks, what months, what time of the mild year we cheated school to have our fling at tops. What days our wine-thrilled bodies pulsed with joy, feasting upon blackberries in the copse. Oh, some I know, I have embalmed the days, even the sacred moments when we played, all innocent of passion, uncorrupt, at noon and evening in the flame heart's shade. We were so happy, happy, I remember, beneath the poinsettias red in warm December. Well, I'll read something about the life he moved to. This is titled Spring in New Hampshire, to JLJFE. Too green the springing April grass, too blue the silver speckled sky, for me to linger here, alas, while happy winds go laughing by, wasting the golden hours indoors, washing windows and scrubbing floors. Too wonderful the April night, too faintly sweet the first May flowers, the stars too gloriously bright for me to spend the evening hours when fields are fresh and streams are leaping, wearied, exhausted, dully sleeping. A discussion of the immigrant's life in New Hampshire. I'll do one other. This is, again, looking back on home life in Jamaica. The Easter flower. Far from this foreign Easter, damp and chilly, my soul steals to a pear-shaped plot of ground where gleamed the lilac-tinted Easter lily, soft-scented in the air for yards around. Alone, without a hint of guardian leaf, just like a fragile bell of silver rhyme, it burst the tomb for freedom sweet and brief in the young pregnant year at Easter time. And many thought it was a sacred sign, and some called it the resurrection flower. And I, in wonder, worshipped at its shrine, yielding my heart unto its perfumed power. So then I will shift gears a little into one of my own. In the United States of America, my country, we have a fascist regime trying to boot out immigrants en masse, immigrants particularly of hue not white, taking away good, solid taxpayers, workers. They came into office promising to usher out criminals, but statistics proved, and we already knew, that among the immigrant population, criminals were few, and so they are just making this plan of theirs a vendetta against persons of less than white composure. This one is titled Remembering the Missing. This is from my book, Against Fascism. I will put a link in the description box to it. And I should say, I highly recommend this compilation of verse by Claude McKay, Remembering the Missing. When people can be disappeared based upon allegations, it sets a problem more than weird. And though you're losing patience, do not forget, but list their names and daily do review them. The autocrat that makes false claims would rather you not knew them. Until these persons are restored to pre-abduction status, remember that when slanders soared, 'twas no divine afflatus. Much of the charges was disproved easily early on. Due process skipped, they got removed, then rabbit holes sent down. The only way to get them out, injustice to revoke, is not forget, but shout and shout, the beehive so to poke. The criminals behind these plots should have their days in court, for now the missing, kept in thoughts, will hasten time's report. I think that's good enough for this reading. Thank you for stopping by my channel.